in terms of this global economic crisis or the global economy and where things sit, I want to take a look at some key indicators here and just point out some facts where things are at. Doesn't mean everything's going to collapse tomorrow, but how do you know when it's going to collapse when we've done shown you that this whole thing's rigged? These guys have been drugged into court, slap on the wrist, fined some money. They were able to walk free. While everyone else is waiting, thinking, oh, I can't wait till these people get rounded up, thrown in jail, or at least put drug into court. Well, it already happened. I talked about this several times, many, many times. It already happened. It's happened multiple times. And since these people just got fined and set free, it tells us the show's going to continue until they bring it down the way that they want it. I believe that this will be a big shift toward what they want in terms as a global order is concerned. That's what they want. They want everyone on board. And if they don't think that you're on board right now, they would be warring against you, which tells me that, I see who's on board. I look at all the world leaders that gather around the globe in places like Kazakhstan, all wearing their little purple robes, even the ones that are supposed to be on the verge of World War III, they still show up there and do this little dance. You see, while the rest of the sheep sleep and fail to see, or even ask the question, what are they doing together over there? But yet they're saying we're getting ready to go to war with them and trade wars and all this. Well, how come they're all dressed up the same over here at this place? And not just there, also over here. I see some of you are awakening, and that's great. You need to see that because you need to see we've all been sold out. That your fellow brothers and sisters around the globe, under the rule of different governments, they're being lied to too. It's all about control. And they want to run us all against each other. They want to divide you into as many little subcategories as possible. Till you find one that fits you, and then they've got a label they just stuck on you. And then as soon as you have that label stuck on you, anyone from the opposite side of the spectrum is supposed to bang it out with you. Anywhere and everywhere you go, over any and everything, they want you to debate instead of debating the beast. So what we have here is smart money getting out of stocks at a rate that they have not seen since just before the financial crisis of 2008. Keep these things in mind. Moody's is warning about a particularly large wave of junk bonds that are going to default, saying that it's coming around the corner. Then in number 3, we have, according to the FDIC, a closely watched category known as assets of problem banks has more than tripled during the first quarter of 2018. What that means is that some of the really big banks are now officially in problem territory. Number 4, U.S. Treasury bonds are having the worst start to a year since the Great Depression. Number 5, mortgage interest rates just hit a 7-year high, and they've been rising at a fast pace, the fastest pace, let's say, in the past 50 years. And it's going to be absolutely crippling when this real estate and housing industry comes crashing down. Number 6, retail industry debt defaults have hit a record high in 2018. So retail industry debt defaults hitting a record high in 2018. Number 7, we are on pace for the worst year for retail store closings ever. 8, the 2 largest economies on the entire globe are on the verge of starting an international trade war, as we've seen in terms of the puppet show between China and the United States. While they eat cake, sip tea. And let's not forget Xi Jinping and Donald Trump sat there eating cake, sipping tea, watching them bomb Syria for the very first time when he flexed his muscles while he was there. You see, here on this world stage. And as I've said before, the 2 industries of China and the United States rely heavily on one another. If you start to tear that apart, you start to deteriorate both of those countries. Now, if they're doing that, what are they going to replace it with? That is the golden question all of you should be asking. Okay? Number 10, Italian banks and their stocks crashed really hard this week. and Italian 2-year bonds are at the highest that they've ever been. Well, since 2014, that they've been since 2014. So add that in here with number 12, German banking giant DB Bank. Just announced that it will be cutting another 7,000 jobs. Why? Because they're going down the tubes. Because DB Bank is the exact bank that I've told you over and over again have been busted for rigging the housing, the precious metals, all of it. And while everyone's sitting there bitching and complaining, wanting to turn a cheek to this, they want to say, oh, I can't wait till these people get arrested and go to jail. They've already been drug in the court. They got a slap on the wrist. They got let loose, and they were fined a little bit of cash. What does that tell you? It tells me that this whole thing's rigged and it's a game. And that if people are getting caught rigging this whole damn market from these banks, especially DB. And let's not forget, Goldman was tied into some stuff here recently as well. And I called it as soon as DB started to have these issues that you were going to start to see these things. You're going to see other companies start to get squeamish because other guys are going to be like, oh crap, they're going down. Someone's going to have loose lips and things are going to happen. Problem is, when you're dealing with the biggest orchestration on the planet that keeps the whole economy, the whole fundamental everything rolling, and you're talking about the guys that are keeping it manipulated and propped up, you wonder why they're walking. They're just taking some of their money and they're walking. It's because they cannot afford those guys to turn or to go against what they have going. Do you understand that? They cannot afford for the key players that have made this whole thing happen, this huge deceit this whole time, to start squealing like pigs and actually taking to YouTube and going on people's channels and airing it out. And you know, if they tried to do that, what they would do, they would clamp down and make it illegal for anyone to talk about this or that like they're doing in other countries right now. People, I hope you're seeing what's happening. I think for the past 5 years or more, there's always been the talk of, oh, you know, just wait till the day comes, the day is here. The time is now. And the whole thing's being propped up. And these are many of the signs that go along with it. 12 key factors that I just went over here for you guys to take into consideration. And I'm going to leave a link here so you guys can read into it more. I'll continue to update as we see the atrocities by these bankers and everything. But what else? What good does it do? I can sit here firing off the truth in these videos all day long, really. With them trying to keep the truth bogged down, I got to thank everyone out there that fights the fight and gets this information out there and helps people understand, look, there ain't no waiting for them to get rounded up. It's already happened, and they walk scot-free. Get that into the heads of the people. Then maybe they'll stop and take another look at what's going on. Then that'll help them see what's coming. And until next time, this has been Dabu7. Eyes open.